Hi, and welcome to Pitchfunder Training. Today I'm going to show you your new Pitchfunder page, how to log in, and what you're responsible for creating on your page. Once you've watched the video, follow the step-by-step guide to help you as you go. Now let's get started. By now, you should have an email from ScaleFunder inviting you to set up an account. If you've been part of a Pitchfunder group before, you will not receive a new email, but you may log in using the account you set up before. Once you have your account and you're logged in, you'll see this page. This is the back end of your campaign page where you will fill in all the necessary content. Let's skip down to Collaborators first. This is the Collaborators page. Your name and email address will be listed here because your role is a collaborator. That means you have access to everything we are going to discuss, such as editing content and settings, adding other collaborators, and managing your fundraising team. You may add any other project leaders to this collaborators list, but I don't recommend adding too many. You don't need your entire team to be able to edit content and make changes. Often, 2 or 3 is plenty. Now that you have your main project leaders included, you can begin adding and editing your content. We'll go to the settings page first. On the settings page, you will need to fill in the project title and short description. You may also create a project byline, print URL, and Twitter hashtag. Your project title is just what it sounds like. That will be the header of your campaign page, and it should be very clear so that donors know what they're looking at right away. Using too many acronyms or jargon can turn your donors away. The short description is what shows up on the home page of Pitchfunder. Think of this like search engine previews. 1 or 2 sentences highlighting your project is enough. If you want to include a project byline, I recommend using your group or team name. That will also show up on your home page, like this. If you want to share a cleaner URL with your potential donors, create your custom print URL with your group name or acronym or your project name. For Twitter, I only recommend using a hashtag if you already have one. That's all you need to do on the settings page. Now let's jump to the important part, the content. There are 5 tabs in the content section: Media, Description, Donation Page, Bios, and Donor Heatmaps. You won't have to worry about the donation page. That's already done. We'll head into Media first. On the media page, you will need to add 2 photos, a project tile image and a project main image. These images can be the same if you don't have a lot of photos, but both must be included. The project tile image shows up on the home page with your short description and byline. The project main image is what shows up at the top of your campaign page and when you share the link on social media. Choose photos that represent your group. A group picture or a picture of you in action is a great one to include. If you decide to create a video for your group, which we highly recommend, you can add the YouTube link here. This will replace the main image on your campaign page, but that image will still be used in social posts. Going down to the description, this is where your best writers will come in handy. In order to write a compelling and effective description, you need to answer the who, what, where, why, and how of your project. Basically, who are you, what are you doing, and why should I, as a potential donor, care? I encourage you to use images in your description as well, which you can add by clicking the little mountain button in the toolbar. At any time, you can see how your page is looking by clicking the Preview Project button at the top right of your screen. Now let's look at bios. Bios are not required, but do add value to your campaign page by putting a face to your campaign. I recommend including 2 to 4 bios if you decide to use them. Your heat map is automatically turned on with ASU colors. If you want to use a heat map, you don't need to do anything. If you decide you'd rather not use it, you can toggle it off at any time. I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. Now the content section is complete, but your content is not done yet. Next, we'll fill in the levels. These are the suggested giving levels that will show up on the right side of your page. Generally, you want to have 3 to 5 levels and make sure they're about the same length as the description. When making your levels, be creative. Choose a number that is representative of your group or project, such as a budget line item or a significant statistic. For example, you could use the $46 to represent the 46 members of your group, or $107, which represents a hotel room for students for a night. Notice how the examples I gave were not nice round numbers, like $25 or $50. Instead, the 46 and 107 stand out better and make donors more interested in giving. For the name and description, just describe the significance of that number. You can look at any of the current projects for inspiration at pitchfunder.asufoundation.org. As a general rule, We recommend starting your giving levels no lower than $30. People often give at the lowest level, and if everyone is only giving $15 or $20, it will take a lot of donations to reach your goal. So do yourself a favor and start just a little higher. Okay, that's all the content you need to fill in. Here's what your page will look like when it's complete. It will have a main image or video with your goal and goal thermometer to the side. It may include bios of the leaders of your group. Then you have your description and giving levels. See how this group has their levels and description about in line? If you have 7 levels and only 2 paragraphs of content, no one will scroll to the bottom. The next tab is Updates, which we will talk about in a later video, although you're welcome to explore on your own. As you collect donations, the heat map and donor wall will be filled in automatically. Donors have the option of making their name and/or their donation amount private. However, you can still see that information on the back end. Let's take a look. Click on Donations to see who has donated to your project. Of course, this page is empty right now, but as it fills in, you will be able to see the donor name, email address, donation amount, and the date given. It will also show a symbol of a crossed out I if the name or donation amount is private. Before you dive into your own page, I want to show you how to include the rest of your team. Like I said, not everyone will be collaborators, but you hopefully have many group members ready to help you fundraise. These people will become your ambassadors. You can add ambassadors the same way you added the collaborators, by inputting their first and last name and email address. If you have a large group, you can bulk upload this information using the batch upload button. These ambassadors will not have access to everything that I have shown you here, but they do get their own tracking URL, unique to them. When they share this URL with their network, any clicks that come through email or social media will be displayed here, along with how much money they've raised and how many donations they've received. They can also track their own progress, although they won't be able to see others. Here is an example of an ambassador list. In this example, you as the project leader would definitely want to follow up with Anita to see what she's doing right and how others can use the same tactics. You would probably also want to follow up with Adrian, who got a single click to the page but no donations. Adrian might need some pointers or support writing emails, or even help understanding who to reach out to. He may also be using the general URL rather than his unique tracking URL. You don't have to add them right now, but it's recommended you set up the ambassador feature before your campaign begins. And we're done. You'll notice there are other tabs that we didn't look at. Feel free to look around the reports and updates, even though there's nothing there now. The Receipts tab you won't need to worry about. We did that part for you. Before you begin filling in your page, take a look at the other resources we provided. First is the End User Agreement. You will need to sign and return that to your project assistant, either digitally or as a hard copy. Next is the Checklist for Success. I recommend going through this with your leadership team to help you stay on track and make sure you complete everything on time. There's also a Finance FAQ, in case you have questions about how accounts are set up, how money is used and transferred, and so on. Finally, there's a quick guide that covers all the tasks you must complete before we can schedule you for training and confirm your launch date. It also tells you next steps once you complete the content on your page. If you have any questions as you're working on your campaign page, please reach out to your project assistant who will provide support and guidance. Thank you for your time and good luck on your campaign.